Hey everybody, my name is Danielle and this is Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. Your presence is very much appreciated. So welcome back. I wanted to share an update on Big Brother Season 24, BB24. So if you're interested, keep listening. All right, BB fam. First of all, I'm in my car waiting to go in. It's right before my appointment and I wanted to come on and record this and do something really quick. I always say it's going to be quick. I mean it this time because I have to go into my appointment in a few. All right, so here we go. So we know that Turner is the HOH and he nominated Brittany and Taylor. The veto competition was won by Michael. There were thoughts that Michael would use the power of veto on Taylor. And remember, he had a conversation with her in the room before the veto players were picked. To me, I thought that this was a ploy by Michael to get Taylor to pick him for the veto, or to pick him, solidifying his opportunity to play in the veto competition. But he was chosen anyway. But nevertheless, Michael decided to use the power of veto on Brittany. He also had other plans, in that he shared with America that he planned to take Kyle down. Remember that? He was seen on the feeds talking to America saying, if I go down, he'll go down too, or I'll take you down too. And remember, this is when Michael thought his game was in real danger. He thought he was going to be backdoored. So Michael opted to weaponize information he had on Kyle. And the information I am referring to is the fact that Kyle attempted to recruit Brittany and Michael into an alliance to target Monty, Joseph, Taylor, Terrence, Jasmine, and Indy. And you may have noticed that I've named players who have already been voted out, right? And I named those players with intention because it shows how long Kyle was thinking about this and how long ago he was voicing this out loud to Michael and Brittany. Anyway, Michael won the veto, used the power of veto on Brittany, and Turner replaced Brittany with Kyle. And how did we get here? I'm so glad you were wondering the same thing. Well, here's the Reader's Digest version. So in short, Michael and Brittany made their rounds in the house and shared with the other house guests that Kyle wanted to start an alliance that included Kyle, Alyssa, Brittany, Michael, and Turner. He wanted to target the names that I mentioned earlier, which were Monty, Joseph, Terrence, Taylor, Jasmine, and Indy. Michael was sure to bring to their attention the optics of Kyle's plans, implying there was racial bias, and how Kyle was using that racial bias, or was driven by his racial bias to target Black people, people of color, and Brazilian players in the game. In their revelation to the house guests, Michael and Brittany was clear to point out that they asked Kyle for an example of where he saw that the Black people of color and Indy were all coming together to target them. Kyle's response every time they asked that question or brought it up to him, it always came back to him thinking about the Cookout Alliance in BB23. Michael and Brittany also were intentional when sharing with the other house guests that they shared with Kyle, or they were intentional in telling the other house guests that they told Kyle the optics of this guy, this doesn't sit well with them, right? They also added that that's not the game that they wanted to play, and they repeated this sentiment in that the optics was off-putting and it was rooted in racial bias. That's all it could have been. This is Michael and Brittany sharing this sentiment with the house I'm talking about. The response to all of this now was Kyle having a breakdown. He went into the DR for hours. When he returned from the DR, apparently there was a house meeting. They blocked the house meeting on the feeds, by the way. But we know there was a house meeting because the house guest referenced it more than one time after the feeds returned. During this house meeting, Kyle admitted not only to his attempts at trying to form the alliance, but he also admitted it was rooted in race. He also claimed or came clean about his own game. It's like he was outing other alliances again, but he came clean to the entire house, including his Pound alliance and his final two with Turner. And just for a sidebar for a second, the Pound alliance was made up of Monty, Joseph, Turner, and Kyle. Yet Kyle still made an attempt on more than one occasion to convince Michael and Brittany that Monty, Joseph, Terrence, Taylor, Jasmine, and Indy were forming a Cookout 2.0, despite there being no evidence of this forming. Anyway, as a result of the house meeting, Terrence has now taken on the responsibility, because he's a Christian, that's what he says, to try to help Kyle grow and keep him in the game so he can learn from his mistakes and do better. He's felt this need to protect Kyle. Okay. Turner has also expressed his thoughts in wanting to keep Kyle over Taylor and form a whole new alliance with him, Kyle, Monty, Terrence, and Alyssa, leaving Michael and Brittany on the other side of the house. You guys, this is all I could tolerate on the feeds yesterday. So in summary, Turner's HOH, he nominated Brittany and Taylor. Michael won the veto. He used it on Brittany, and Turner replaced Brittany with Kyle. Kyle and Taylor are now on the block. All right, a couple of things. I haven't watched Sunday night's episode, and right now I don't plan on watching Wednesday night's episode. I'll just go to the sources I use online that follows the game and transcribe what happens inside the house, inside the game. So I'll scan through that to find out what happened on this Wednesday's or on the Wednesday night episode. I'm curious how production will edit this. I suspect that they won't get it right, but this isn't new, right? All right, and that is it, you guys. Short and sweet. All right, so that's all I have. I'd love for you to like, share, follow, and subscribe, all of which will help my channel grow, so thank you in advance. All right, my name is Danielle. You're listening to Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me, and as always, I appreciate your support. And that's all I have. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.